All you rappers out there that like video games, you are definitely gonna like this episode because today, me and Jabari from Boost Collective are talking about the potential that the music industry is gonna have with AR, VR, video games, and where we see it going in the future. So make sure you guys tune in because this episode is gonna be a good one. What's going on? It's Pin Fried Rice. Welcome to the Music in the Millions podcast, the show where we give independent rappers the tools and resources needed to be successful without waiting on a record label. Like I said in the intro, guys, we are going to be talking about AR, VR. This is a continuation of the interview that I did with Jabari. Like I said, there's a lot of gems from this interview, so this is just more on a topic that I have not really covered before, but when we started talking about it, my mind started to blow up with ideas. With that being said, let's get right back into the video. This is one that I'm kind of curious, and I thought of this question. I was like, I didn't even know if I wanted to ask it because it's hypothetical, but if Spotify disappeared, was gone forever, how would Boost Collective handle that situation if you're an artist or for the artist that you deal with? Like, what would you do if that playlist opportunity was just gone?
Okay, perfect. Well, this is the interesting thing is because Boost Collective, our main service is our labor and our technology. So I'm just hold on to that because that's going to kind of key into what I'm going to say in the end. Spotify happens to be where a hub that we use our labor to transport the artist's songs and whatever to get the exposure. So if hypothetically Spotify was to disappear, then a couple of things would happen. Number one, that leaves a gap in the market for another person to come and try to find a way to help artists sell music. And then
True.
we partner up with that new service. So it'd be more so a pivot point instead of like a total collapse. And most of our, like a good majority of our, like when people come on Boost Collective and they get our services, Spotify is our number one. However, our number 2 and 3 is cover arts.
Okay.
And then social media posts type things. So what happens is we could always just double down on those. But if it's a hypothetical,
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Say
You're gonna
that last thing you said again because it kind of cut off a little bit.
I timed out. Oh, I said social media posts and our content creation and design services are just almost just as powerful as our playlist pitching and blogs. Blogs are also pretty big.
Got you. Okay. And then you had said if Spotify kind of disappeared, there would be another company to fill its place. Do you feel like there's any companies that are on the rise in that right now that we should be looking out for as independent musicians? We should maybe start building that relationship with, because 3-5 years down the road, they may be somebody that's on Spotify's level or around there.
That's a good question. And honestly, we have to also look out for Bezos,
Yeah, true.
Only because in order for a system like Spotify to run, you would need a lot of data and you need a lot of contacts and a lot of songs because it's a social network, right?
Mm-hmm.
The story of Facebook and MySpace, they had this thing where you refer a friend and then they get to do something and then like it would grow really fast. So if somebody were to do that, they would definitely have to be a company with a lot of financial backing because servers and hosting that is expensive. And B, they have to be somebody that already exists with a bunch of contacts. So if we look, who would be doing that and how would it get done? Well, there needs to be like a way for you to purchase, to actually buy the music. Just exploring the trends. The biggest upcoming trends I can think of at the top of my head that will impact the music industry is VR and AR.
Interesting. And let's talk about that for a second, because I feel like I, at least personally, have not really seen too much or heard too much about that. But I know from being a follower of Gary Vee, he's always talk about, oh, make sure your VR and AR is coming up and everything like that. But how do you feel that's going to play into the music business? Give us a little bit of game on that one.
All right, perfect. So do you remember when the Wii first came out? Nintendo went from the Game Boy to the Wii.
Yes.
The GameCube,
yes.
my mistake. GameCube to the Wii. And so it was like, whoa, that's so cool. Now it's like I do something in this world. It interfaces over there. That's nice. So now if we look at the music industry, and after COVID, we saw that Zoom calls, ironic because we're in one right now, and trying to bridge the gap of creating a human experience without having to actually go through the burdens of achieving it through transportation, having to go somewhere was one thing. But now people, they aren't force-fed music anymore. People find their own music. It's possible for micro genres to exist. So the one thing that VR and AR would give, it allows that experience to be unfolded in ways that were never possible before.
And think about this just popped in my head, the music video capabilities. Like if you can literally have your fan immersed in a music video, like I know for rappers this may not be anything, but like if you have a full band, you could literally have a video where like your entire band's in a circle and your fan gets to stand in the center while you guys are playing, or like shit like that. Like that just popped in my head, but it's so crazy. And my girlfriend just got one of those Oculus headsets, like the VR things, and like
Damn.
even just like the stuff that you can do with that, just now that you kind of said that and like the wheels are starting to turn, I can already see there's going to be so much potential when it comes to AR and VR. And like, because I'm trying to think of now my brain's working too fast. I got to slow down for a second. Let me.
Hey man, I'm gonna let you collect your thoughts because I had another question for you. So
yeah, go for it.
All right, I'll ask you this while you still keep the pot stewing with that other kind of idea.
Mm-hmm.
So as we know, EDM has been, okay, let's just say electronic music.
Mm-hmm.
Hip hop, a lot of people don't agree, but in my opinion, it's electronic music because a lot of it is very digitized. There's not a lot of analog components used. You don't necessarily guitar. It's very like, especially trap, very electronic.
Sure. Yeah, I definitely agree that there's a huge merge between the two nowadays.
Mm-hmm. So when I think of EDM, it's always about cyberpunk wave, about innovation, about like trying to find the cool techie way to do it. So I feel EDM I'll try to bring that, like the EDM music scene would be so adapting of that.
Almost like how Travis Scott did the Fortnite thing. Like, I feel like we're going to see a lot more circumstances like that where you see artists pairing up with big video game companies, big media companies and stuff like that to where they can now, because even Marshmello did one. For those of you guys who don't know who Marshmello is, he's an EDM DJ and a producer. He also did a Fortnite show, not on that same level of Travis, but like, can you imagine in like 2-3 years from now when like that's almost a norm? Like you hop on Call of Duty and after you're done, playing zombies or whatever you're doing, you could literally go over to this like performance of like someone rapping or singing or doing something. I don't know. Like I'm not a big video game person, but the fact that like that EDM is definitely, they need to capitalize off of this. Cause like, I feel like those two movements together are like super synergistic and they can just like keep elevating each other. Cause it's like, that's kind of where my brain went with the Oculus system is like have you heard the Beat Saber game where you're literally just like hitting the blocks with a lightsaber basically on beat? If rappers and musicians can get their songs into stuff like that right there is like, because now your song is in a video game, which that's just sync licensing. But if it's a VR video game or an AR video game, like that's so much crazier because it's such a more immersive experience.
That got the monkey in my brain. He started, he almost solved his Rubik's Cube. He's like one block away,
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
My brain just thinking it's all right. Even video games, like with the rise of Steam, like imagine 30 years ago, who could make a video game? Like you'd have to be next level. You need a big company to do it.
Right.
But now with Steam, there's so many indie games coming up. Like, all right, what's the one game? Undertale. That's an independent game made by one man. Minecraft made by one man. Those are like really big examples, but a lot of guys are making smaller games here and there, but these are niche games because now independent developers can make games. So, and make it at scale. And that leaves you as an artist an opportunity to merge.
Yes, and that goes back to the guys. Build relationships. If you feel like your music has a potential to be in video games, like you hear it right now from both of us, we're saying that the AR, VR is going to be moving in. So start building relationships with these type of people. Like there's app developers out there. There's video game designers out there. Like you don't need to just build relationships with people in your direct industry. Because if you do, you're actually alienating yourself and putting yourself in a box to all the potential that you really could have with your music.
Dude, I honestly, I got to commend you for that one. I couldn't have said it better. I could not have said it better. I could not have said it better.
Yeah, so that's definitely something interesting to look forward to is AR and VR. So I like that. That's cool. All right, guys, hopefully you liked that episode. Hopefully you got a lot of gems from it. I know there was a lot of really interesting ideas that were thrown around, and my brain really started to work when we started to talk about it. So hopefully your brain did too. Let me know down in the comments what are some creative ideas that you came up with, some things that came to your mind. What would you rather work on, AR or VR? Guys, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and join the Music in the Millions family. Peace.